This is Speed of Doom's hook map. Your investment in the WAD will be based entirely on how good you think this map is. Lucky for me, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and Darkwave's signature is the most pronounced here in terms of environment and secrets. Music is Glue Star, a Darkwave original. So you might notice that this map is much larger than the previous ones. And that's one thing I feel contrasts Darkwave from Josh. Josh's maps are all about the efficient use of space in order to create these very tight and calculated arenas, and Darkwave is all about the artistic use of space in order to create timeless vistas and incredibly unique cavernous and mountain sections. Like, just look at that. It's amazing. All absolutely unnecessary, but still well implemented. And great for replayability values, it's likely that all of this won't be appreciated on the first go-round. Get used to fighting a stuck Mancubus like this, because this map has quite a few of them. So down here is a whole bunch of trigger lines opening up a whole bunch of traps. Going for this med kit will open these 3 imps. Walking into this slime will put you in view of a singular sneaky revenant. Crossing this hallway will reveal a bunch of pinkies and a Hell Knight. There is a singular block line in front of the elevator to keep any monsters from breaking it, and this can be used to make the pinkies a non-threat for this ambush. As long as you can dodge fireballs at a medium range, this elevator makes you invincible. It's definitely an oversight, but you can beat this part of the combat without having to use the elevator exploit. So first secret, this button that's entrenched next to this chain gunner will open up this neat contraption, giving you a berserk. One pain elemental spawns behind you, promptly asking to be punched to death. After him, past the upcoming firing squad, is the first super shotgun of the WAD. You don't actually have to pick it up, but it's doomed to. You always pick up the super shotgun. When you do, it will trigger a multitude of enemies, including 4 Mancubi, 2 which teleport into your possible exits, 2 Arachnotrons covering the hallways leading away from the area, and 30 imps. As long as you're able to shimmy out past the Mancubus back the way you came, the rest of the crowd doesn't pose that much of a threat. The imps will likely box themselves into their closet if you go this way, so the only problems here are the Mancubi and Arachnotrons. You'll have to come back through here with the yellow key anyway, so even if you skip this part and don't even fight the Mancubi and the Arachnotrons, it's still better just to get these crowds cleared out before that happens. Oh yeah, there's also a singular Baron on the structure out in the slime, but it's not a threat at all. He's really weird. A Mancubus would have made much more sense due to him covering more ground with his projectiles and doing the exact same range of damage as a Baron. That, and considering the size of the perch he's on, but I don't know. Don't immediately bum rush this Arachnotron because these 2 chain gunners will be revealed behind you. Darkwave actually uses the turrets really well in the sense that they're a distraction, and it can both be a threat on their own and set up monsters to ambush you. They're done really well, especially in maps in the middle third of this WAD and in the first secret map, which I honestly can't wait to get to. Until then, I'll just have to stick with singular revenants. When you get out to this view of the outside, drop down into the slime and run over to this teleporter. This telefrags the Baron, ending his useless life without wasting a bullet. Now come back and jump over to this clump of land. Behind this tree is a hole that leads to another secret with a rocket launcher. Now this secret is obviously trapped, so when you grab the launcher, chuck a rocket into this alcove to kill the chain gunner and immediately mow down these revenants. Now you have a good position against the revenants, and the Mancubus that can actually move is too slow to corner you for a good amount of time. That one singular chain gunner is the key to this entire fight. The next secret is down here in the slime trail, but the entirety of the passage is covered in 20% super slime. You will not make it to the end. So what do? Come back to the dead chain gunner and shoot this hidden entrenched switch for a closet of rad suits. Now you can traverse the tunnel of super slime without taking damage. Unless the suit leaks, of course. And this tunnel will eventually lead to a soul sphere. This might be one of my favorite secrets of the WoD. It's an optional challenge that requires more than just killing a bunch of monsters with the weapon that you acquired from the secret. And it rewards you for staying dedicated to the premise. There will be a couple more like this in the same vein, but not to this extent. This secret also gives you the opportunity to get the drop on these enemies down here. I personally would rather come in through the front door in all honesty. It helps bust up a clump of enemies that you'll run into on the way out. But you don't have a choice if you get in the rocket launcher, which you will need, that is a promise. Now this section is weird. What you want to do is grab the yellow key and not immediately shoot the chain gunner. Since you'll likely want to use the super shotgun to immediately vaporize the monster, if any of the bullets hit the wall behind him, it will open to reveal a revenant. This wall also opens up if you grab that medikit in this crate. It's weirdly convoluted. One simple secret panel opens up to reveal a box of shells and a box of rockets. Useful ammo. And heading back to the yellow door will spring this trap. It's only supposed to have the Arachnotron on the return trip, but since I didn't come in here normally, there's also a Mancubus and Hell Knight that are still alive. Usually in this case you can get the Arachnotron and Mancubus to infight, which is what I'm desperately trying to pull off here, but I guess the line of sight from the spider just did not want to cooperate for a while. I'll come back for them on a return trip. So when you open this door, don't immediately kill the zombies. Back out a little bit so that you don't get trapped by this pinky. Then you can take care of the cannon fodder. Okay, this fight kinda sucks, honestly. I think the whole point is to get the Mancubus to infight with the pinkies so that you don't get surrounded by them, but there's so many ways to escape this encounter and make the Mancubus completely harmless, as well as funneling the pinkies into a singular spot. The way that the block lines are set up on the Manx sector keep the pinkies from really being able to attack him, so they're kind of useless at grabbing his attention. It's just an awkward flaw. It's a really strange outlier on otherwise incredibly set up fights. This is actually a bad example because the pinky did just bite him right there. I guess the stars do align sometimes. This next bit is actually pretty easy to break if you know what you're doing. All you need to do is edge your way up to this line to get these two Hell Knights to appear. What's supposed to happen is that you duke it out with the Hell Knights in the pit with the risk of the barrels exploding, but this keeps that from happening. You'll definitely want to keep those barrels safe for the fight after this. Once they're dead, hit the yellow switch, count 1-1000, blow the barrels on both sides, then clear out one of the alcoves with the rocket launcher. This will give you some safe positioning, and from here you can just go to town on the remaining enemies. As long as you have one rocket left for the final fight, then you'll be fine. The last secret is over on this side of the slime. Pressing the submerged button lowers down a green armor and one singular armor bonus. It also teleports a Hell Knight that does a pretty bad job at keeping you cornered. Not a big deal. The other side of the slime has two chain gunners. You'll just have to see him coming to not take damage. I love how these crates are stacked up to keep the flow moving. Great design. Keeps enough momentum to stay on your toes for these pop-up groups of imps and one singular chain gunner. Well done backtracking is just very satisfying in this game. Okay, this last fight is the hardest in the map for me, for sure. Mostly because it looks innocent until you gauge the space you actually have to fight in. When you go to press this button, 8 imps will be practically on top of you in this room, and a Hell Knight blocks the exit where I'm standing. Those few imps can overwhelm you really quickly if you don't have the health and the soul sphere remaining. The way I do this fight is consistent, but you'll have to eat a bit of unavoidable damage. So hit this button, rocket one side of the imps, and that should give you enough room to manage the rest. The remaining ones shouldn't be able to do enough damage to kill you in this case, so definitely watch out for that Hell Knight that could creep a shot in. And that's it. Maps like this are why Speed of Doom is legendary. The amount of beautiful geological formations conforming to these well-built brick and mortar structures, the real sense of finding something when you go secret hunting, the amount of ways that these encounters can be approached based on how you want to go about beating the map. It follows all the golden rules while also being so incredibly freeform. You want to super shotgun your way out of that final imp closet? Try it out. You want to not bother hitting the button to take you to the secret soul sphere? Go for it. The difficulty doesn't constrain your ability to experience the map to a singular strategy, and I really want to be as positive as I can right now because the next group of maps are fucking painful. Some in difficulty, some in quality, some in both. But getting to experience a Sedgemire in between, that makes it all worth it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Darkwave isn't impartial to having really obscure secrets in his maps. If you no-clip outside where this armor is and drop down into this hole, you can get a BFG in this inescapable pit of super slime. It serves no purpose, there's no way to get in, no way to get out. There's even a second one in the main outside area. Same principle, you have to no-clip to get under the ceiling. It's really just a little bit of goof for anyone who's looking at these maps in an editor. And hopefully I'll get to do a lot more of these segments in this series because Darkwave is funny.